It is 10 a.m. and we are live. Okay, let me see how this is actually rolling. Right, Facebook, you're going to have to help me out. I can see Facebook. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, I hate when it does that. I don't know why it does that. I don't know how to fix that. Not yet. Morning, everyone. I'm using this new streaming platform. Well, it's not new, it's new to me. Morning, everyone. The most important thing is that I am having this recorded and it will be on my YouTube channel. I am Karen Allen on YouTube. I will wait a few minutes as I work this out. If you're on Facebook, please let me know that you can hear and see me. That would be amazing. Amazing, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Give me a second. Give me a second, everybody. Oh, this is how I do it. I'm working this out on my phone. Morning, everyone. What am I doing? Okay, let's see if this works. Yes, that works. That works. That works. Morning, Simone. Okay, let's see if this works. Yes, that works. That works. Sorry, guys, because if I do it that way, this works. Yes, that works. Yes, that works. That works. Sorry, guys, because if I do it that way, this works. Yes, that works. Morning to all who are joining me. This works. Doesn't want to work this one. Yes, that works. Morning to all who are joining me. I may not be able to. Morning, Tanya. I may not be able to answer your messages. Okay. I may not be able to. Morning, Tanya. I may not be able to answer your. Okay. I may not be able to. Morning, Tanya. I may not be able to answer your. Okay, perfect. Okay, morning. If you happen to be live on YouTube, good morning to you. And for those of you who are watching the replay, hey, whether it be morning, afternoon, or evening. Whether it be morning, afternoon, or evening. Right, we are going to get into this because, like I said, this really is about me just sharing and recording so that I can see how this thing is working. So it is the 1st of October. 2022. I am Karen Allen. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. Wow, we are in autumn officially, and we are in the last quarter of the year, and what a year it has been. I am literally just going to be here for a few moments, just wanting to share with you what has been on my heart and mind over the past few months. So for those of you who do follow me or follow my journey or who are a close part of my life, you will know that for the past 90 days, I've been doing a challenge, and I called it the 90-day Dare to Dream Challenge. And I called it that because where should I start? I called it the Dare to Dream Challenge because what my plan was to be very intentional about my life for 90 days. Now, I've been doing this 90-day increment thing since last year, since October 2020. So in October 2021. So in October 2021, I did, sorry guys if I keep looking over my glasses because I can't see myself. So I'll be doing this and this, okay, till I get used to this and seeing the glare. October 2021, I did a 90-day challenge and I called it Before You Die, Live. And for 90 days, I made that declaration and just was intentionally speaking life into people's lives. Now, I've been doing that. I've done 3 90-day increments since then. And the most recent one that I just finished literally yesterday was what I called the Dare to Dream challenge, where for 90 days, intentionally, I talked about dreams. I thought on my dreams. I inspired people around dreams. And for 12 weeks, every Monday at 9 o'clock, throughout the 90 days, I did an online Zoom where I was literally just speaking life into people's lives. And it has been an amazing, intentional, intense turmoil. It's been everything. Okay. I was making some notes this morning because I want to share on the topic, the destabilization of a dream. The destabilization of a dream. And I'm going to tell you why I've called it that. Because 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with one of my girls in America. Her name's Antonina L. Griffin. And she mentioned a book that she's currently reading called U Squared, YOU with the number 2, the little 2, U Squared, by a man called, I got my notes here because I know that there are some people who will actually go get the book, which I highly, 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 highly recommend. Pritchett. No, I didn't write his name down. Price Pritchett, his name is Price Pritchett, PhD. The book is called U Squared. Okay. Now, I had heard about this book before from Myron Golden, but I didn't get around to getting it as yet. Then Antonina mentioned it. I was like, right, let me get the book. So I downloaded the book, bought it, downloaded it same day and read it. Blew my mind. I read it within an hour and a half. The next day, which was Thursday, I reread the book, but I made notes as I read it. So this is my journal. I love to show people what I do because I hope to inspire people with my life. So I wrote, no exaggeration, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages of notes just on that little book, right, on Thursday. Blew my mind. Now, I came across this statement in the book that inspired this inspiration, whatever you want to call this. And this is what the statement read. It says this: you deliberately destabilize yourself when you break out of the habit patterns that represent the status quo. You create inner chaos for yourself. Be prepared for confusion, anxiety, and failure. It's all part of opening up yourself to new methodologies that have the potential to deliver exponential performance gains. I'm going to read that again. This is what it said in the book, and it just took me down a whole path. You deliberately destabilize yourself when you break out of habit patterns that represent the status quo. You create inner chaos for yourself, so be prepared for confusion, anxiety, and failure. It's all part of opening up yourself to a new methodology that has the potential to deliver exponential performance gain. Now, when I heard that, it exploded in my mind for a number of reasons. Firstly, because I was like, this is how I've been feeling in this 90 days. I've been feeling destabilized. So I jumped over to the dictionary, which I do often, to look up the definition of the word destabilize. And it means to make unstable, to cause something to be incapable of functioning or surviving, or to cause something to be unable to continue existing or working in the usual or desirable way. I'm going to read those definitions again. The word destabilize means to make unstable. It means to cause something to be incapable of functioning or surviving. And it means to cause something to be unable to continue existing or working in the usual or desired way. Now, this blew my mind because that's how I've been feeling during my 90-day Dare to Dream challenge. I've been feeling unstable. I've been feeling incapable of functioning. And I've been feeling unable to continue working in the way that I usually work. I need you to hear me, okay? For 90 days, I've been doing this challenge called the Dare to Dream Challenge. And during this challenge, right, I just wrote down here, I was so intentional and intense during these 90 days. I only read 2 books. I read The Power of the Subconscious Mind and the book that I just mentioned to you, U Squared. And I only read that book Wednesday and Thursday. I've only focused on 2 books, as well as the Bible, for those of you who are going to try and come at me, because the Bible is my foundation upon which I stand. 2 books, 90 days, The Power of the Subconscious Mind and U Squared, because I was intentional that, as a matter of fact, I said I'm only going to read 1 book for 90 days, which was going to be The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And it's only because my girl mentioned this book and it's come up a number of times throughout the 90 days. I thought, let me get this book. And she said it was a quick read as well, which it was. So I was very intentional and very intense. Now, when I say intense, this is what I mean, that I only spoke to a handful of people for 90 days intentionally. Like, there was calls I didn't take, messages I would only respond to messages by text. I wouldn't call people back unless I would weigh up, like, is this important, is this a distraction? Because it was a very intense 90 days, right? So I was intentional, I was intense, but in doing that I was destabilized. Now the thing is, until Thursday I didn't have a word for how I was feeling. All I knew is that these feelings were causing me to feel like, it said, remember in what I read in the book, it says you create inner chaos for yourself. So be prepared for confusion, anxiety, and failure. What? I was like, this has been me for 90 days. Confused, anxious. I've never used the word anxiety as much as I have in the past 90 days. I just feel anxious. I just feel anxious. I just feel anxious. I've never used it as much in my whole life as I have in 90 days. When I read this, it was like God handed me an explanation. This is what's going on, Karen. You have destabilized yourself. And as a result, you are breaking old patterns, okay? But this process is going to cause inner chaos, which is going to cause you to feel confused, anxious, and you're going to experience much failure. This has been me for the past 90 days. But that's the bad news. The good news is that as a result of this destabilization, you are opening yourself up to new methodologies. A methodology is a way of doing something, yeah, that has the potential to deliver exponential performance gains. I ain't even got the time to, I'll probably have to do part 2 on this. I ain't got the time to go into this the way I want to go into it, right? This destabilization is a 2-sided coin. On one side of the coin is chaos, it's confusion, it's anxiety, it's failure. On the other side of the coin is new methodologies. It is potentials to deliver exponential growth. I was like, slow down. Then the Lord started to show me, Karen, every time someone has a dream, they are going to go through a process of destabilization. And this is my message to you. It's actually a message to me, but I'm just sharing it with you. Every time someone has a dream, they are going to go through a process. So now let's personalize this. The dream that you have, whatever that dream is, the dream of writing your book, starting your business, getting married, building an empire, whatever that is, okay? That dream is going to go through a process of destabilization. Let me just read the definition for you once again. That means you're going to feel unstable. You're going to feel in the process that you are incapable of functioning. Like, I'm not sure about this. Don't know if I'm qualified for this. Don't know if I'm good enough for this. And you're going to feel unable to continue life the way you used to. That's just me putting in my bit. It says unable to continue working in the usual or desired way. Unstable, incapable, unable to continue doing business as usual. That's what destabilization is going to do. Whenever you have a dream, there is going to be a period of destabilization. And the thing is, if you don't have a dream, well, number one, everyone has a dream. You just probably have buried it or let go of it or given up on it. But if you don't have a dream, you need to get one. Or if you've let go of your dream, you need to go reclaim it. Or if you've put your dream on the shelf, you need to go take it off. And if you've buried your dream, you need to go dig it up, okay? Because I believe life without a dream is not even a life worth living. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. So this is me telling you my story. 90 days, Dare to Dream Challenge. It finished yesterday. Today is the next, I'm about to do a next increment of 90 days. During this challenge, I discovered that I was going through a period of destabilization. I was intentional, I was intense. But as a result of that intentionality and that intensity, this is what happened to me. Are you listening? Because you might be going through similar things right now and not be able to explain it. And you may, I'm sharing this because I don't want you to think that what's happening to you is abnormal, because I thought that what was happening to me is abnormal. I was like, what is happening to me? And I wasn't able to articulate it, explain it, doing a lot of crying, feeling very vulnerable, feeling very frustrated because I wasn't explaining it until I understood it by reading this book. I'm being destabilized. I'm moving from one version of Karen to a better version of Karen. And in the middle, that's what's going crazy. Because these are the three things I wrote down today. This is in with the 90 days, there's three things I've already decided this from a while back, but I'm now being very intentional about my life, especially as I get older. People are dying, like dropping like flies. I've decided I'm going to live my life on purpose. Okay. I've decided that I'm going to learn lessons in the process. Okay. So even on this 90 days, I know, right, Karen, remember, you're living your life on purpose. You're learning lessons. You're not just going through things for the sake. You're paying attention so that you can learn the lessons throughout the process. Yeah. And I've decided that I'm going to let go of pain. I'm not going to carry pain and unforgiveness and bitterness and trauma. And that bit's really hard, and I'm working through it. And that's a continual lifelong process, but it's a decision that I've made. I've made a conscious decision. I'm going to live my life on purpose. I'm going to learn the lessons through the process, and I'm going to let go of pain. Okay. As a result of that, I have been experiencing a lot of insecurities, a lot of feelings of inadequacy, a lot of feelings of I guess incapabilities or inabilities. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'll be able to sustain this. One of the big things, like this, what I'm saying, it's been confusing to me that I've been struggling with this. Like, I've been struggling with a YouTube channel. So I know that I'm supposed to be consistent on YouTube because I've been instructed to be consistent on YouTube. But I'm not being consistent on YouTube because I feel insecure about it. I feel inadequate. Like, it's not that I haven't got the content, because I'm a content queen, but I feel like the content may not be, these are just things that are going on in my head, right? Relevant for the YouTube world. And I feel like I haven't got the ability to be as consistent on YouTube as I'm going to need to be. So hear me out, somebody. Karen Allen, have been feeling insecure, inadequate, and incapable of doing what I know I'm supposed to do. This has caused me to be confused, because this is nothing hard. It's nothing that I don't do. But in this destabilization season, it's been causing me to feel anxious, all of those things that I discovered. This is revolutionary to me, because once I understand what's going on, then I can deal with it, and I'm ready. This is why I'm on here today, because now I'm ready to go. Okay. Jesus, help me now. So I'm not here just blabbering. I need someone to hear me. You may be experiencing a season, you may be going through a process of destabilization where you feel unstable, you feel unsure, you feel uncertain. And as a result of this, you may be questioning yourself. It may be causing you to feel how I have been feeling: insecure, inadequate, incapable. Okay. That's all the bad news. But there's good news. You know, I'm going to come with some good news, innit? I got to come with some good news. But before I come with the good news, or as well as coming with the good news, I'm getting to the good news, yeah. Remember, the good news, in a nutshell, for those of you who won't make it through to the end of this, whatever this is called, I don't know what to call it. The good news, in a nutshell, is that you're opening yourself up to something new, to someone new, to new experiences, to new opportunities, to new encounters. That's the good news. The destabilization in the middle is opening you up to new. That is the good news. All right. So that's me. I'm just telling you how my 90 days has been in a nutshell. Okay. But for those of you who only read the Bible, let me come for you. There is a story in the Bible of a man named Joseph who was a dreamer. My dad calls me the dreamer. Yeah. I'm not offended by it. Joseph was a dreamer. And Joseph's dream, this is what, so as I'm going through this, just over the past 48 hours, I'm seeing parallels in the scripture, in the word, because I often look for parallels. Joseph was a dreamer, and God began to show me that destabilization, like I said, is part of the process, but it starts with a dream. Like it is very unlikely that you're going to be destabilized if you didn't start with a dream, whatever that dream is. So if you're living in a house right now and you have a dream of going to a bigger house, there is going to be a process of destabilization. If you're single right now and you have a dream of being married, there is going to be a period of destabilization. If you're in a job right now and you have a dream of starting your own business, so destabilization starts with a dream. For those of you who are taking notes, because I don't just chat for the sake of it, because I ain't got time for that, because I've got 5 kids yet. These are the notes you must be taking. This is what I discovered. Destabilization, number 1, starts with a dream. You got to have a dream. You got to have a dream to move from where you are to where you want to be. You got to have a dream to move to increase your life to be bigger and better than it is right now. You got to have a dream to deepen your relationships to be even more intense than they are right now. Whatever your dream is, that's what it starts with, a dream. Secondly, so using the story of Joseph now as a model, this is what the Lord began to show me. Joseph had a dream, okay? The first thing Joseph did after he had a dream, which is my second point, so the dream is my first point. The second thing Joseph did after he had a dream was he declared his dream. He made his dream known. He told his family about his dream. He made a dream declaration. And there are many people who would say, don't tell people about your dream because of the, I disagree with that. Tell people, but tell the right people, because the right people will have you covered. The wrong people will try to get you killed. Okay. So there has to be a declaration of your dream. Somebody needs to know what your dream is so that they can partner with you on that dream, whether it be partner with you in prayer or partner with you practically. Okay. There has to be a declaration, which is my second point. My third point is that dream is going to have a death threat. This is where it starts to go downhill. Because, yeah, we can shout about dreams. I'm that girl. I'm the dead dream queen. We can shout about dreams, shout about vision, shout about... But there is going to be a death threat that comes against your dreams. Joseph's brothers, yeah? Pay attention. Joseph's brothers threatened his dream. And your death threat is likely to come from those who are closest to you. It's just how life is, okay? That you're just going to have to swallow hard, get over, move on, and get on with it, okay? It's a process. I say it like it's blasé. It's traumatic, but, you can overcome trauma with help and support. There is going to be, so that's my third point, there's going to be a death threat against your dreams. Your dream will be threatened. Something, someone, some circumstance is going to threaten to kill your dream. Okay? Point number 4, your dream is going to experience a dark place. Joseph was threatened by his brothers and then thrown into a pit. Joseph's dream now was in a dark place. You and I are not going to be exempt of this process. If we use it metaphorically and you apply it to your life, you have a dream, you declare your dream. There is going to be a death threat. Someone's going to tell you can't do that. You can't be that. You can't write that book. You can't start that business. You're not qualified for that. It's called a death threat. It's called someone threatening that which you desire. We're all going to have death threats. Someone's going to say to you, you can't have, or you can't be, or you can't do. It's called a death threat. That's non-negotiables. You're going to have that. Then your dream is going to go through a dark place. At some point, there is going to be a season in your life where the dream looks nothing like what you dreamed. And that's the dark place. It's the pit. It's the place where you feel alone, you feel isolated, you feel like, oh my gosh, I told so-and-so and now they betrayed me. I did so and such, and now they teeth my idea. So-and-so said that they would help me and now they're helping so-and-so. Whatever that looks like, it's the darkness of your dream. It's the dark place that your dream must go through. That's point number 4. Okay? Point number 5, you will be displaced. Joseph was put into a pit. He was taken out of the dark places where you're like, yeah, I got hope. Oh my gosh, so-and-so's come to help me. And now he finds himself in Potiphar's house, displacement. And you will find yourself at a point in your life where you're like, this doesn't fit. Or I don't fit. Like, this is the story of my life. I just feel like I just don't fit. Like, I don't fit anywhere. I don't think I fit anywhere. And it's a feeling of displacement, which leads to point number 7. Or point number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Point number 6. So displacement is point number 5. You and your dream will go through a season of displacement where you feel like you just don't fit. It might be that you feel displaced from your family or from your friendship groups or from your church or from your business or just from your culture even. You may feel like, oh my gosh, I just don't fit. Like what I want to do, what I want to build, who I want to be doesn't fit what I'm used to. Do you know what I mean? You might want to, for example, be in a relationship, be married, committed, have a family, and you've never seen this in your whole life. You know, your mum wasn't married, your aunt's not married, but you may have a desire. That dream might be yours, and you go through a season where you just feel displaced, like I just don't fit. You may have a dream to start a business, an empire, whatever that is. You may have a dream to leave one kind of work and go into something completely different. And then you're going to experience the death threat. You're going to experience the dark place. You're going to feel displaced. And that displacement is going to lead to point number 6, disillusionment, where you start to think, boy, what's the point? Joseph is in Potiphar's house. Potiphar's wife accuses him of rape. Joseph's like, what? Where did this come from? And it's in that usually disillusionment is as a result of being rejected, it's being lied upon, people saying you are who you're not, people saying you did what you didn't. All of those things is it makes you disillusioned. Like, what's the point? What's the point? Where all you did was tell someone your dream, and now I'm here in this place. All I did was say I want to help in the education system, and now they're trying to block me because the kids are being inspired. All I did was say I want to preach the gospel, and now everyone's trying to tell me women mustn't preach. I'm not telling my own story. I'm just saying, kind of. That's all you do. You just all I want to do is make a difference. All I want to do is start this business. And now people are trying to bring up things from my past because I got a criminal record. All I did is say, I want to restore my relationship. And now people, now I can't do nothing because I had an affair. Whatever that is, whatever your story is. Disillusionment. So you think to yourself, what's the point? This is what Joseph is. Then Joseph now, as a result of being falsely accused, is now in prison. Point number 8. No, point number 7. I don't know what point I'm at. In prison, Joseph has to make a decision. So those of you who are taking notes, these are the points. You have a dream. You declare the dream. You have a death threat against the dream. Your dream will go through a dark place. You and your dream will be displaced. As a result of the displacement, you will be disillusioned. Point number 6. In the disillusionment, you are likely to find yourself in a situation where you have to make a decision. You have to decide. Joseph is now in prison for something he didn't do. Usually your dream will lead you to places and in situations where you should not be. You're like, I shouldn't be here. You follow your dream and you end up broke. Why? Because you've invested everything you have in your dream, and to you in your mind, I should not be here. How am I broke? Because I decided to start this business. How am I in a worse situation because I decided to follow Jesus? How am I in a worse situation because I decided to do life the right way? That's what happens when you have a dream. But you have to make a decision in that moment. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But you have to make a decision. Joseph in the prison had to make some decisions. And those decisions are going to determine your deliverance, which is my next point. Decisions will determine your deliverance. It's the decision that Joseph made in prison that determined his deliverance. And for those of you who are churches, you're probably thinking freedom and screaming and set free. And yes, that is a definition of deliverance. And yes, I do mean that, but I want to focus on this definition that I found. Deliverance means something promised or expected. For example, the postman delivered the mail, or the man delivered on his promise. The mother delivered on her promise. So in this instance, I am talking about freedom and all of that stuff in terms of Joseph was set free from prison and taken to the palace. But I'm also talking about the deliverance of a dream. The dream that you started with in the beginning will be delivered to you. You will live your dream. You will experience the fruit of your labor. You will experience the promises of God in your life, despite the destabilization that you're going through, because it's full circle. So it starts with a dream. You declare the dream. You have a death threat against the dream. You go through a dark place. You are displaced. You go through disillusionment. You have to make a decision. You will be delivered and you will see the manifestation of your dream. That's is the circle of life. Because destabilization is a two-sided coin. It starts off with the confusion, the anxiety, the frustration, but it ends up with you being better. It ends up with you being in the place that God promises. It ends up with you being the person that God said you will be. It ends up with you experiencing the promises of God like he said you would. That's how it ends up. Because your dream will come to pass despite the destabilization. But I want to pull out a point as I conclude. I cannot believe it's 10:30. I want to pull out a major point, okay? Because this is what the Lord began to show me this morning as I was pondering on the word. He began to show me that this, not only am I going through a season of destabilization, and I guess we may be going through a season of destabilization, but this nation in the UK right now, we are going through a destabilization. Let me remind you of the definition. For those of you who joined me late, you can catch all of this on my YouTube channel. I am Karen Allen, okay? To destabilize means to make unstable, to cause something to be incapable of functioning or surviving, or to cause something to be unable to continue existing or working in the usual or desired way. The UK is currently going through a destabilization. Why? Because we are unstable. We've just lost the Queen of England. We now have a King of England. That is instability. And anytime that there's a transition, a leadership transition, whether it be in a household, you remarry, for example, or in a church where there's a new pastor, for example, or in a school where there's a new head teacher, for example, or in a nation where there's a new leader, there is an instability, destabilization, right? This nation right now is incapable of functioning in the way that it used to because of that new leadership. This nation will never be the same again, ever, because we now have new leadership. That's what destabilization does. But it also causes something to be unable to continue working in the usual way. So the way that the UK has been doing life is we are going to start seeing the manifestation of that change because we are going through this transition, this destabilization. So not only is this a personal word for me, Karen Allen, but it's also a prophetic word to me to show me what is happening in the nation, and anything that is manifested on earth has already been established in the heavens. All right. I just wanted to throw that in there for those who will just dig a bit deeper. This is the bit I want to end with. Joseph's decision, his decision while he was in jail, determined the deliverance. I want to say it this way. This process of destabilization that I am going through, that you may be going through, that this nation is going through, will be greatly influenced by the decisions that I make. So yes, I feel anxious. Yes, I feel confused. Yes, I feel insecure. Yes, I feel inadequate. All of those feelings are real feelings, but the decisions I make, despite what's happening, will determine my deliverance. My freedom will determine the delivery of the promises of God in my life. And the same goes for you. Because it was Joseph's decision to remain in character. It was his decision to be consistent. It was his decision to be committed to who he was. Joseph did not lose sight of who he was, despite where he was. And it was because he was a man of great character. It was because he was committed, and it was because he was consistent. He made a decision to be those things. For those of you who are taking notes, Joseph made a decision to be a man of good character, to be consistent, and to be committed. And in him making those decisions, it determined his deliverance. Because he interpreted, for those of you who know the story, you can read it from Genesis chapter 37 all the way through to the end of the book. He interpreted the dreams of the butler and the baker while he was in prison. That showed you the kind of character he had. He didn't say, "Oh, bun this, I ain't doing nothing, I'm in jail, I shouldn't be here, these dirty people, I don't want to be here, they lied to me." He didn't do none of that. He still realized that he could be who he was called to be, even in the midst of the madness that he was in. So he interpreted their dreams, and as a result of him interpreting their dreams, when the one who was restored, who I think was the butler off the top of my head, when he was restored to his place in the king's palace, and then the king, then when Pharaoh went on to have a dream, he remembered Joseph after 2 years. Part of the process of dreaming is that people are going to forget. It's that people are going to forget you. So, but after 2 years, he finally remembered Joseph. And because of Joseph's character, commitment, and consistency, he was called for. And in an instant, the same dream that he had many, many years ago became a reality. Full circle. This should encourage someone. Your dream, despite the destabilization that you're feeling right now, you may be going through major crisis right now. As many of you know my story, I have been through major crises, divorce, depression, death, all of it. Destabilization, unsure, insecure, all of that. But full circle, because I'm still making decisions in the middle of my destabilization that is going to determine my deliverance, the fulfillment of the promises of God over my life. And the decisions that you make during this period of destabilization will determine the fulfillment of the promises of God over your life. That's all I wanted to share today. The destabilization of a dream. Every dreamer will go through a process of destabilization. To conclude, I'm going to repeat the definition. It means to make unstable, to cause something to feel incapable of functioning, to cause something to be unable to continue existing in the usual way. Destabilization is part of the process, but listen to this. Remember the book I talked about at the beginning, U Squared. You deliberately destabilize yourself when you break out of the old, when you break free from status quo, when you decide, I'm not going to be average, when you decide, I'm going to be great, when you decide, I am going to be wealthy, when you decide, I am going to make a difference, when you decide those things, you deliberately destabilize. So if you're deciding, I'm not going to have an average marriage, if you decide, I'm not going to be an average parent, if you decide, I am going to impact my community, if you decide, I'm going to be that girl or that guy who is going to go into the arts or the media or wherever it is, if you decide that, you deliberately destabilize yourself, which is not a bad thing. It's a two-sided coin. On one side of the coin, it means that you are going to create inner chaos because you're going to be conflicted. You're going to, this is what I realized 2 days ago. Oh my God, it made sense of the whole 90 days. That's how God sets up my life. He waited till the last week to let me read this book to make sense of the whole 90 days. I decided I'm going to dream for 90 days and it was a wreck. My mind was a wreck for 90 days. Couldn't understand it. It says that you create inner chaos for yourself. So be prepared for confusion, anxiety, and failure. So if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling anxious, if you feel like you keep failing, you keep messing up, you keep doing it wrong, it's part of your destabilization. But the good news is this. You are opening yourself up to new methodologies, new opportunities, new ways of doing things, new experiences that is going to potentially deliver exponential gains. Exponential, whatever your dream is, if you will make the right decisions throughout the destabilization process, you will be delivered. You will come through the other end and you will experience the promises of God on your life. So do not ever, ever, never, ever, never, ever give up on your dream. Okay, I am Karen Allen. For those of you on Facebook Live, thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who may be on YouTube Live, thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who will watch the replay, thank you for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and do all the things you need to do on the YouTube channel as I get used to this whole process. I will be doing lives more frequently on both platforms until I transition to YouTube, which is the ultimate goal, because that is the assignment that I have been given in this season. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Be blessed and be a blessing. Love on the ones you love. And don't forget to say a prayer for your enemies. Until we meet or speak again, have the best day ever. And quickly, to those on Facebook, sorry I couldn't respond to your comments because I can't when I'm doing both. I haven't worked that out yet. When I work that out, I will, okay? So I'm not blanking. I'll go back to respond to them. Same with YouTube. All right. Bye for now. Be blessed. Have a best day. And like, share, subscribe, and all of that jazz. Okay? Bye for now.